welcome to the Art of Franchise Marketing. Each episode takes a deep dive into the franchise space and explores how the biggest and best brands handle national branding, franchise development, employee recruitment, and localized marketing on a daily basis. This podcast is brought to you by NetCertive, a localized digital marketing partner for franchise networks. NetCertive talks shop with franchise executives to discuss what's working, what's not, and answers the question, what else can you be doing to excel at the art of franchise marketing?
Hello, and welcome to the Art of Franchise Marketing podcast. I'm your host, Erin Martin, and this episode is brought to you by NetCertive. Today, our guest is Richie Huffman, the CEO of Huffman Family of Brands, which is an umbrella brand over a large family that includes brands such as the Celebrity School and others that we'll dive into. So, Richie, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Erin. Thanks for having me on.
And I know we had your CMO, Laura Rice, on to talk all things Celebrity, so we're really excited to dive into your larger portfolio and a ton of your background in building this family of brands. So just to kick things off, can you give our listeners some background on you and then your current role and what you do there?
Sure. So my name's Richie Huffman. I'm the founder and CEO here at Huffman Family Brands. My wife and I have 5 children, 23 down to 15. And I would jump in by saying I opened my first preschool at the age of 26 years old. So I've been doing this for 31 years. I always say that I was the first franchise partner of the brand because I was mentored and guided by my parents who had a preschool at that time. I actually still have the same preschool after 45 years later.
That's amazing. So that was the founding of Celebrity School way back when?
I'll give you the date. It was 1994, a long time ago.
So when did you guys start franchising? What did that growth look like in building the brand from that initial ownership?
Yeah, so give you a little story. As I mentioned, my parents have a preschool, so I was mentored by them. My first school in 1994, opened my second school. The first school was wildly successful from day one. And then I opened my second school 2 years later, 1996. And Erin, I knew at that time this is what I wanted to dedicate my life to. It was just so rewarding in so many different ways. And I still say I was so blessed at a very young age to find something that I was so passionate about. And I actually think I found my calling at a very early age. Over the next several years thereafter, we became, and we still are, the largest preschool provider here in the state of Maryland, with 27 corporately owned schools. And then in March of 2019, to be honest with you, I was getting bored. I had built this amazing brand and this amazing executive team, and they were really running the day-to-day operations. And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm bored. And so we decided and we talked about how we were going to expand the company. We could continue to open 3 or 4 schools per year, and the more I thought about that, I really said, even with that, I would probably still be bored. And in March of 2019, we decided that we were going to expand the brand by franchising. And I can say that I'm not bored any longer. So we're in our 5th year of franchising, and we're in 17 different states and have 60 locations open, and just signed franchise agreement number 116 of last week.
That's amazing. And then talk to me a little bit about the Huffman Family of Brand approach and where your head's been at in growing the larger portfolio.
Sure. So again, as you can imagine, over 31 years, we've been presented a lot of opportunities. We started, as I mentioned, in the preschool industry with Celebrity Schools as the corporate. Then thereafter, we started getting into the before and after school business with our Caliday brand, where we're providing before and after school programs inside of the elementary schools. And then from there, we went into the franchising, which is Celebrity Enterprise. From there, we found ourselves with HWG, which is Here We Grow Properties, where we have real estate holdings, and the majority of the real estate holdings are our franchise partners' schools, and we've created a real estate fund that allows for family, friends, and especially our franchise partners to invest in real estate. And that could be either their school or another one of our franchise partners' school, but it's still investing in real estate and all the benefits that come with that. And as we continue to grow, then, as you can imagine, we get asked a lot, and our organization is very philanthropic. And there's where Huffman Family Foundation was developed. So we're very philanthropic as a brand and as a family, and we are really teaching that and moving that model around to the 17 states. So for an example, in all 17 states that we operate in, we are connected with the Ronald McDonald House. That's a huge piece of our philanthropic endeavors, and then we will pair up with one of the local children's hospitals.
That's awesome. And then talk to me a little bit about the marketing side of things for either the beginning of Celebrate, the beginning of building these portfolios. Like, how has that changed or shifted over the past 5 years in terms of your strategy and what you guys did to build and start a brand to now continuing to fuel that growth?
As you can imagine 31 years ago, Erin, I had no clue. I was so young. I was just trying to make it happen. There was the technology and just the way there was no, I don't think there was an internet, right? I don't even know. I can't even think back.
Yeah, wildly different.
Right, a little bit different. So all this new digital marketing, 95% of our traffic drivers from digital marketing now, and Google, and it's just changed. We've just gotten so much more sophisticated in our approach and our process and our procedures and the way we go about doing everything, to be honest with you, from marketing to site selections. Everything here at Celebrate, if we're just talking about the Celebrate school side, it's very methodically thought out. There's a process, there's a procedures, there's tools, which ultimately we call the journeys. Everybody comes in under an award journey, so the people that are looking at the brand and looking at potentially joining us as a franchise partner, we call that the award journey. Then we move into the real estate journey, then we move into the construction journey, and then we ultimately go into the operational journey. And each side of it, in each one of those journeys, are very detailed strategies and tactics that help us get to the end result that we're looking for.
Yeah, and I love that. I think you had said before, growing people big and small, and just that ethos and mantra that you put behind. So where did that come from, and how did you continue that kind of theme throughout the years?
We're a very aggressive organization. We love to win. We love to grow. We love to push ourselves to see what we're capable of. And over the last several years, there's been several pivotal points that have put us in a very good position. And that's because we're constantly looking for ways to improve. I remember going to a meeting one time, and there was a speaker, and the lady said, "So what do you do?" And I said, "We're in the preschool business." She goes, "No, what do you do?" And I thought she didn't hear me, so I repeated it myself. And she says, "No, that's an industry. What do you do?" So I got away from her really quick and went and thought and came back to the team and was like, "Guys, what do we do?" And this was probably 15 years ago, and we said we protect, we educate, and we nurture young children. And so that became our values. And so every decision that any of our teachers or leaders make, it's got to be viewed through that lens of, is this decision guaranteeing and making sure that these children are protected, educated, and nurtured? And then probably 10 years ago, we went through the same exercise, and it was like, what do we do? And we grow people big and small. And it just puts an organization, it just brings so much clarity to an organization, which then allows for enormous traction and growth. So with growing people big and small, it's very simple. And we've actually put the resources behind that as far as every one of our teachers. First of all, it starts with our competencies. Every position here under Huffman Family Brands has competencies, behaviors. And then ultimately, for example, my job is I'm creating entrepreneurs, right? I'm helping people. I'm not in the franchise business. I'm in the business of entrepreneurship. And I love that, and I love that expansion, that expanded view, because if I was narrowed focus on we're in the franchise business, then that's the way we would behave. And that's why you'll never hear us say franchise or franchisee. It's our franchise partners, because I really view them, and we are truly partners, because my job is to help them become entrepreneurs in a space that we're really good at and truly passionate about.
Yeah, and I have to give you guys props for growing people big and small, just the clarity of the why that fits both audiences. I think a lot of brands struggle with Fran Dev side, consumer side. You have two different audiences, it becomes two different companies and two different silos within organizations. And that beautiful, just super simple, memorable why that can drive everything is really good. Like, I haven't heard something that speaks very well to both of those sides as one, like you guys have. So that's pretty cool.
And Erin, I would wrap that in one big bow and say, my goal is to help everybody prosper. Period.
Yeah.
Period. I want everybody to prosper. I want my team here to prosper and grow and elevate. I want our franchise partners to grow and elevate and prosper. I want our teachers and our staff to grow and prosper. And ultimately, our children.
Yes.
And so it's just a phenomenal, as you call it, mantra. It's just a phenomenal view of my role and ultimately just the way I look at life. I want to help others prosper and grow.
And so I'm curious, as you guys got into franchising, you had a lot of good years under your belt of what was working. How did that all translate to your franchise partners in terms of a playbook? What was working from the business and marketing side of things that then you translated, whether it was marketing campaigns specifically or areas that the home office handled versus the franchise partners? What did that look like as you guys started franchising and were giving those tools to your partners to implement?
I think one of the reasons why Celebrity has become so successful so fast is because of the infrastructure and the resources that were already in place, that were already managing and supporting the 27 corporate locations. Most organizations have a very lean office. They have maybe one person in the marketing department. I think we started out with 4, right? So the infrastructure was like already in place. We just had to figure out how to navigate and really work with our franchise partners, and also how do we replicate these tools that we were using across 17 different states. And listen, with that said, we are always asking ourselves, how can we do it better? How can we do it better? How can we do it better? In those journeys, and making sure that we're winning, number one, and number two, that everybody in that journey is having an amazing experience. If our franchise partners aren't winning and aren't having a great experience, then this brand would not be able to grow to the point where it is today.
Yeah. And what does that look like for you guys? What pieces do you enable at the home office level? What do you have franchise partners run with? Everyone has their own kind of philosophy at times. Like, I talk to a ton of franchisors that they're like, we are the marketing team. Like, we are the ones who know marketing well. Like, we should be the ones controlling a lot of the local marketing, because yes, it needs to be tailored to the local market, and franchisees have a responsibility to be the mayor of their market with grassroots marketing. But at the same time, like, there's a reason the corporate team has massive brain power on that front and should be doing a lot. And then there's some franchisors that I talk to and it's no, absolutely, we'll give some infrastructure and back-end business playbooks, like that kind of thing, but that's 100% on the franchisees to manage their own business. Like, where do you guys land, and what have you seen work the best for you guys?
We're more on the first example. I don't see how the Huffman family that just was working at Deloitte Bank last week is supposed to know all this. It's literally impossible.
Yeah.
And I think that's just the wrong approach. We take the approach of a true partnership. True partnerships, I believe, share resources. So we are heavily involved in every aspect of the business, from site selection of the real estate to permitting to construction, and then ultimately through marketing and all of it. I mean, we are the resources for the success of for our partners. We are relying on our franchise partners just to execute on their competencies as owners inside of their school. For example, coach and develop. Uphold our mission of growing people big and small. We want our franchise partners to focus on that. We will get your phone to ring. We actually will answer your phone for you. We have an enrollment center here. Every single location, every single phone call is routed here to Maryland, where that phone is properly answered. Some of these calls could go for 30 minutes. It doesn't matter. We want that mom to have an amazing experience when she dials that phone number. We'll schedule their visits. We'll follow back up on that call. We just expect you to run the day-to-day inside your school walls of coaching, developing, and executing on your competencies that we know you have as an owner, and upholding our mission to grow people big and small.
Yeah, which is huge. That centralized call center, I oftentimes see marketers who want to move to that, but they're not. So I'm curious, did you guys start that way from the beginning, or did you make that shift at some point?
No, we've had that in play for a long time.
Nice.
And it came in-house because we first started even bringing software into even the business. It's about traffic flow, it's about visits, and it's about conversion, right? And so we got to measure that and monitor that, and then follow up with our CRM system. You'd be amazed at how many of our competitors I visit, and they don't even ask me for my ID. They don't even know. They're not even tracking the visits. So there's no way they could be tracking their marketing dollars. You know, I remember years ago when we didn't have the enrollment center, our conversion rate in the schools were 100%. I'm like, man, we're really good. Until I realized, Erin, they were only entering the parents that they enrolled. I was like,
yes.
I got you now.
To be true, it is.
Yeah, I got you now. It just gives there's so much value in that enrollment center. It's tracking our marketing dollars. It's giving marketing a chance to pivot with their content and their messaging. I give you an example of coming out of the pandemic. A lot of the phone calls were coming in saying, I'm looking for I'm looking for a program for my child because I got to go back to work. So marketing heard that message, and so we started changing our advertising, messaging, content of a dad. He's at the computer, and he's got his 2-year-old on his shoulders, and his glasses are like this, illustrating that I can't do this. I can't have a 2-year-old home with me as I'm trying to work. So just listening to what our parents are saying through the call center or through the enrollment center, if we didn't have that, we wouldn't be able to capture that data.
Yeah, and a lot of the cool AI analysis, understanding what's being said, like when you have that data collected and clean, you can start to harness some of those analyzation tools.
Totally.
And I often see, or we've seen, where franchisees, they're actually getting leads from digital programs, and then through call tracking, we can see you're not answering the phone. It's going to a voicemail. The voicemail box is full. It's talk about wasted ad spend. Totally. So there's those type of things where, you know, if you can centralize it and control for the clean data, the great customer experience, like oftentimes there's downfalls of going that route too, but when you don't have that in place, you need to have some type of super simple operational playbook for the Z to be able to tag things correctly. Like oftentimes we see them, if you don't have the lead source from a drop down for them to clean up in the CRM or some simple way to do that, they're just going to be marking whatever. Or to your point of 100% of our leads are closed new clients. It's no. So I just often see that centralized approach and being able to take more off of the franchisee's plate so they can focus on what they need to be doing, which is running the business, works so well.
Totally. And to your point, if you don't have the data, how are you actually driving the business? Like I don't even see, how do you even do that? You're saying playbooks, and that's exactly right. You can't have a playbook and you can't run the playbook if you don't have the data in order to do it. Most organizations, I think, Erin, to your point, they don't even have playbooks. So I learned this through IFA and through the National Franchise Association. You have to show your franchise partners, and this is probably entrepreneurship 101. As an entrepreneur, and especially as a franchise partner, a franchisor, you have to be able to see a clear path to profitability. And if you can't see it, you got a problem.
Yes.
You got a big problem. And especially if you're considering a franchisor or a brand, if they can't articulate for you the pathway to profitability, you should probably move on.
Yes. Yeah. And in that path to profitability, there's almost like the different growth engines or acquisition engines that are going to get you there as well when it comes to the marketing front or where you get your new customers. It's okay, if you're opening a brand new location, you are going to be heavily investing in getting the word out there, networking, being everywhere at local events, like you're establishing and putting yourself out there, which may have some more paid media investment. And then the goal is over time to become such a trusted source that your new growth engine becomes referrals, word of mouth, being that mayor of your market, and so that you can transition to the best type of growth and fueling the business, which is that organic and referral.
Totally. Our playbook to drive enrollment is very simple. We have to at least generate at least 30 potentials per month. And that's the first hurdle. It's the first hurdle. If we don't see that, then marketing, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. And our two drivers there, as you mentioned, is digital, and you're saying grassroots, we call it community connections. They're pretty much one and the same. But 5% is probably community connections, you getting out there and telling your story and why you're a celebrity school owner and what you provide as a service for the community. And the other part is our digital team, the marketing team, doing their part through PR and through digital marketing. So we're very good at that. And that's hurdle number one, is just everybody's got to at least have 30 on the 30-day. And then it goes to our enrollment center, and they have to, majority of them, looking at reports now, the majority of our potentials to contact, right, you got to be able to contact these parents. That's at 95% of contact. And then you got to get them to come visit, and then you got to do your part as one of our franchise partners. You got to talk to them about, enroll them around the We Grow People Big and Small philosophy. And so with all that said, we're looking at a formula to profitability of 10 new enrollments per month, and now that's the formula. So if we enroll 10 new children per month based on this formula, at what point are we at break even as a business?
And whatever you were just looking at was making me so happy, because it's just like full conversion funnel. Like you've got the data at your fingertips, and by fingertips, literally your fingertips. I love it. Yes.
Here it is. Here's a list of all of our schools, and I just glanced down the first column, and if I don't see at least 30 on the 30, then I'm going to marketing and saying what's going on here. And some of these schools, there's other stories behind it, because some of our franchise partners have scaled back some of their marketing dollars because they're at 90% capacity or something like that. And so there's an answer for everything. I'm just constantly looking for what are those answers.
Yeah. And so how do you guys go about coaching and educating franchisees on that path to profitability?
It starts, we have, I think, 5 or 6 franchise partners. Let me back up a little bit. First of all, you have to discover it, right, as an organization.
Know it before you can coach on it.
Exactly. And with the mindset of constantly never-ending improvement and helping these franchise partners win, we're constantly looking for it. And I would say every week, every day, every month, we're learning something new that will better the journey and better help us coach and develop our franchise partners. So we just had our franchise conference in Dallas, Texas 2 weeks ago, and the whole conference was around growing people big and small, and preaching that and making sure that's alive and well. And I told him, I said, the day that we stop talking that is the day we're like everybody else. I mean, that coaching, that We Grow People Big and Small is the heartbeat of the Celebrity organization, and it's making a huge impact. So I would answer that. We have, I think, 5 or 6 franchise partners that are here today because they're going through additional training before their school opens. And Allison and I, our COO, she's been here 24 years. Her and I went in there and we drilled this home. We talked about the heartbeat of we grow people big and small. We talk about that even at decision day or meet the team day. That is who we are, and that's what you got to be a part of, and you have to have a passion for that. You got to have a passion for helping others win and, as I said, grow. And then we show them this formula of the 30 and having 10 children enroll per month, and that is the pathway to profitability.
I love your guys' clarity and simplicity.
Yes. Yeah. But that we're looking for it, Erin. And listen, we want to win here. We want to win, and I feel, and I know our franchise partners feel, this is a true partnership. Our franchise partners are putting a lot of trust in us. Most of them are putting their entire nest egg at risk here, and I am not going to disappoint them. I am not going to disappoint them, because if they lose, we lose.
Yep. Yeah.
And we don't
I know the
think that
home
way.
office. Yeah, I know the home office crew deeply feels that
Yeah.
as well.
And so back to your point of the second example of those you're awarded and now let us know when you find your location. I just can't wrap my head around that. I don't know. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I know we got a few questions left, so I do want to ask, wearing the CEO hat, what advice would you have for other marketing leaders who are trying to grow brands or a portfolio company like you, just being a part of the leadership team? What would you tell other rising marketing leaders that are trying to have an impactful seat at the table for their brand?
I lived my whole life through the vision. Who do we want to be? What do we want to stand for? What impacts do we want to make? And that's from my family, my home life and my family, down through the Huffman Family Brands. Like, that drives me. Who are we? What do we be known for? The one thing I underestimated, and I'm happy I underestimated, but I'm so glad it happened, is the relationships that I have with our franchise partners. I look at them as true friends and partners, and I have 116 friends up and down the East Coast that I really consider to be my friends. So I would say one of the things that we did well, when we tried to put together the industry of being a very successful preschool provider, and then bringing over the world of franchising, a lot of our recommendations or counseling we got was counseling that I was not willing to take, which was keep your distance, recommend. It was a huge waste of time, and I was like, if I can't be their true partner and their true friend and their true mentor and their true coach, then I don't want to do this. And to be honest with you, that's exactly what our franchise partners want from me. They don't want me to sugarcoat it. They don't want me to recommend. They want, Richie, give me the answer. You've been doing this for a long time. Don't leave me to chance to figure it out. I want to know the answer now. You give me the answer, I will take it, and I will execute on it. And because of that, they become very successful.
Yeah, which is also the beauty of being a franchisee yourself and being born into, it sounds like what your mom and dad fostered from a young age, of being in their shoes. And that's another level of trust that is so great to have. Yeah,
Erin, it goes back to me wanting to help people prosper. Even at our conference, it's so unheard of. We actually had one of the Huffman Family Wealth Advisors do a roundtable on how to protect your wealth and grow your wealth and create generational wealth. So all the blessings and the path that we've been on for quite a while now, if you want to learn from me on those other aspects, not only how to be an entrepreneur, but how to create wealth and how to protect wealth and how to create generational wealth.
Yeah, again, the vision, that's the end goal.
It is. It's who do we want to be known for, and what's the reputation, and who are we? As I mentioned, we're very philanthropic as a family. Last week, I was at the conference Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we were at the Mount Washington Children's Pediatric Gala. Sunday morning, we were up running the 5K at the Ronald McDonald Red Shoe Shuffle. Last night, we were at the Youth for Christ Gala event. This Friday, I'm at the Kennedy Krieger Gala. So we're very active. We're very philanthropic. I love surrounding myself with like-minded people that are also chasing the same vision for their family.
Yeah, that's great. And then the last question that I have to ask everybody, because I want your hot take on AI in general. What are you seeing working? How are you using or not? What's your hot take on the big topic of the hour, as always?
So, of course, we're huge fans of it. We're not there yet. Where we are in the organization, I think step one of our strategy is, are we even maximizing the current software that we have? Like, I think a lot of organizations, don't even do that, Erin. They don't even
100%. That's so good. Yeah.
They don't even maximize what they already have. So Our strategy is threefold. Number one, are we maximizing the current software that we have, and really analyzing, is it still the best software for us? Right? Mm-hmm. We're big fans of out-of-the-box software that can still get us the results that we're after, but we're maximizing it. We fully understand it. Now we're moving into, and this is where we're at now, we're moving into bringing in Microsoft BI to really give us good dashboards and really good reporting. Mm-hmm. That's what's on our plate here at Huffman Family Brands for 2020.
Your new conversion report will be on a dashboard instead of printed out of your fingertips.
Well, it actually looks something more this, or no, I'm sorry, looks more like this.
Yes, nice. Yeah.
We're there. So we're moving into the Microsoft BI. So do we have the right software? We maximize software. Now we're putting it into reports and dashboards to be able to guide and help our franchisees better, our partners better. And then I think in 2026, we'll really start to bring in some of the technology and get better insight of the business from there. But even going as far as just the Microsoft BI, like, there's a lot of good stuff in there, a ton of really good stuff that can open our eyes and has already opened our eyes to help manage the business better and help coach and develop our franchisees better.
Yeah, and I think the thing that you nailed is that anything AI related, you need to have your house clean. The data has to be clean if you want to input the data for an analysis. You have to have your tech stack clean if you want to do some automations. It all requires the foundations to be done well to truly leverage and harness. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck you're just using it to rewrite an email or summarize an email or take meeting notes. You can use it in pockets for little efficiencies here and there, which are wildly helpful. But when you're looking for that 10x leap change and improvements at a systematic level, you need to have a clean foundation and clean tech stack in-house.
Absolutely. But I think that's the 3 steps that the organization should take, and that's definitely the 3 steps that we're taking.
Yeah, that's awesome. Richie, thank you so much for coming on. It was great to hear more about everything going on in your guys' world, Celebrate School. And thanks to everybody who listened in on another episode of The Art of Franchise Marketing.
Erin, thanks for giving me the opportunity to share.
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening to The Art of Franchise Marketing. This show is brought to you by NetSertive. We help franchise brands and multi-location businesses run localized digital marketing at scale. To learn more, visit netsertive.com.